welcome back to Discovering Unique Hobbies, the podcast where we dive into fascinating world of unique hobbies, from extraordinary collections to niche interests that make each individual truly one of one. I'm Zach.
I'm Cody.
And we are your hosts for tonight's exciting episode. So to get into it, tonight we've got a stellar episode lined up with the incredible Cherokee Sampson. Stay tuned as we explore, the many facets of her life, from being a singer to a baker, full-time mom, active member of her local government. It's a potential there. And then I didn't even mention she's fluent in German, which is going to be a fun story to get into. So let's see how a girl from Southwestern Virginia, from my hometown, has seemingly taken over the world. Get ready for a captivating journey into a diverse and wonderful world of unique hobbies. Here we go. Welcome back, episode 5. We got an exciting time, with Cherokee coming in. But before we get started, Cody, how's your week's been? It's been a couple weeks since we last chatted.
Busy as usual, and
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's lives are busy. But another reason why I'm excited for our guest today, she seems to be similar in a way to me, in that I take a bunch of different plates and try to balance them all the time. So I'm pretty excited for that. But just getting geared up for dance season, doing my fitness season, not my dance season, my daughter's. And
do the cowbell, boom, boom.
You gotta get my cowbell. But anyway, other than that, just kind of hunkering down, and we're leaving for LA next week. So how about you?
I'm not leaving for LA next week. It's been pretty hectic the last couple of weeks. I'm glad we were able to not have an episode last week. I didn't kind of just I need some rest. Let's just go with that. But outside of that, I went to this Oriental market the other day before I went to my local vitamin shop. Let's just call it that. And I got these really cool called sweet bread. I can't read it.
You said sweet bread?
I'm sorry, sweet bread. Yeah. And I can't read a word on this bag except for the words artificially flavored. I can't read. Maybe that's my problem. Baked wheat cake, and we had one the other night. It was blueberry, and it's like this weird cake. You tear at it, and it like comes in slices. It's very, very weird. I think that one. But that's
I'll have to again. So my random nutrition code certification wanted to know what was on the back of that label. We'll pick that up another time. I'm interested to know what.
Oh, I see.
The nutrition label.
I was looking at it because I was assuming naturally.
Does it have like nutritional contents? Like what is
nutritional facts? Yeah, that I can read. Yeah, the sodium's on.
So I'm assuming that's in English. What's the number one ingredient when you go on there? The first listed there.
Wheat flour. So it's good for you.
What about number 2?
Flour mix paste, and then that's just a mix of sugar, palm oil.
Like just random. It just says paste, nothing else. Like Elmer's. Like usually it's like tomato paste. You know what I mean? Tomato paste, something paste. I just love how it's just like paste, glue.
I don't know what that was, but just how you said Elmer's, I don't know how you said it. It just got to me. Oh yeah. Perfect. It reminded me of like a movie or something from my childhood. I can't remember what it was. Somebody was eating. It's Billy Madison. Somebody's eating. It's eating the paste from Billy Madison. I think one of the classes he's in.
Miss Lippy's class.
Thank you very much, Miss Lippy.
That's such a quotable movie. Flaming bags of.
It's poop again.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. So man, I have to watch that.
But I do have I wanted to circle back to.
I'm gonna have to take a second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put my glasses on. We talked about it pre-show.
I know. I'll be putting mine on too.
I struggle sleeping after.
Can we add insomniacs to this because we both suffer from insomnia?
Well, I would say it's insomnia, but I think I'm just an anxious mess of a human being. So, I wake up and immediately start worrying about work, and I really have zero reason to worry about that kind of stuff. But
somebody asked me the other day. Somebody asked me what they legit. It was a former coworker of both of ours. I'll leave their name off here, but they called me up and he's the kind of guy that doesn't seem to worry about things. And he goes, I have a question for you. what does anxiety feel like? My sister has it. What does it feel like? At first I was like, that's a weird question. And then I was just like, okay, so like when I wake up, I feel uneasy.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to explain it, meaning like without even possibly worrying about something or dwelling on something. When you have anxiety, it's like an unrest. Would you agree with that?
At times, yeah. My biggest problem is like I'll wake up at 2, 3 in the morning, and then sometimes I reach for my phone to see what time it is, and then at that point you see notifications. So I make a conscious effort to not even look at the clock. But as soon as I wake up in the middle of the night, and my brain's like, all right, time to go, let's go. What time is it? Oh, if you go, you can't go back to sleep now. Because if you go back to sleep now, you only get 3 hours of sleep. And then it's like 15 minutes later. Oh, if we go to sleep now, you get 15 less minutes of sleep. And I feel like this is therapy. And I feel like I'm Julian from Big Daddy, and I can only speak with my sunglasses.
Yeah, perfect. And what the best part about anxiety is, I don't know about you, is I love
resisting the urge for eating 50 packets of ketchup.
Well, that too. Mine's more of like, I worry about getting rid of my anxiety because I'm like, whoa, my anxiety is what helps me drive. So like, I think it's insane that I worry about not worrying. So there's that. So anyways.
Yeah. I've always
but that's why we're here, to have more fun, I guess, right?
I'm pretty sure like my anxiety and like anxious energy is a big reason I got my start in where we previously worked. And so now I wonder if I wasn't that person, would I be hired elsewhere? Or who knows?
I know. It's fun to we talk about the ADHD thing here, and I was legitimately, like, we joked about it. We both collectively thought I have. People who know me think I have it, but I legitimately have it.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm going to do, as far as treatment, maybe, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's
just add some stuff up.
Yeah. It kind of makes me understand a little bit more about why my brain goes like this, but that's why, us talking about a different hobby each week is fun, because I don't know about you, ADHD is like, at least for me, I love to get into something. I go all in for a little bit, and then I'll go all into something else. What I mean? So
it's just how it goes, unfortunately. Like, if you could tell, I've started a little collection of Goofy figurines right here. I got, a comic book, I got Funkos, and
nice, man.
I have something for our next episode. It should be here next week. You're gonna love it. That's all I'm gonna say. It is related to some stuff over there.
I got my boxing gloves. They came today. They are at the office. I will bring them on for show and tell next time.
Is that for like punching bag?
No, it was those ones that we were talking about on the breaker, where it was their signed, little mini signed gloves from Mr. T.
My bad. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Well, we can't expect our listeners to know what I'm talking about, so it's good to recall it anyway. So it's,
well, I forgot myself, so
yeah.
That's why I like going back and editing the episodes. I'm like, I remember that.
You're good. Like, so when you said Goofy figurines, you mean like Goofy the character? I can't.
Yeah. Sorry, I can. I'll when we break for.
Sorry. I could not help myself. Should I wear one of those next week and do like a little point POV, one of those cheesy Goofy hats?
No, I've toyed around with the idea of switching hats, like then ask a question with his hat on, and then you guys start talking, and I'll switch the hat and I'll ask it in a different hat. I have a sombrero, like not a sombrero, but a straw hat that I got when I was Emily and I first vacationed to Virginia Beach over the pandemic, and I've had that thing since, and it goes with me everywhere, and it's currently back here. And I was thinking about how I could get that thing on for an episode, but I couldn't get these headsets on. The headset on.
Were you a fan of the Goofy movie in the 90s?
Man, that was the first movie I watched on Disney Plus, and I know exactly where I was. And I was at the Y in Bellevue, and I was watching it on the treadmill. I watched the entire movie on the treadmill, and I left.
Underrated soundtrack.
Kevin
Campbell, 1 to 1. That's a banger, man.
Pause. I'm gonna go ahead and just pause the podcast. I got some stuff to show you.
Yep.
And we're back. So obviously I said I had to pause because I did want to show you something because we started talking about the Goofy movie. Absolutely aside from the movie Brink and The Luck of the Irish, is probably my favorite Disney movie ever. And so I went ahead and just got some things off.
Brink. Sorry, I love Soul. Are you a Soul Skater? Oh wait, what?
Powerline, man. Yeah.
Oh, nice, dude.
So the song you were talking about. Eye to eye. Yeah.
Eye to eye. Singing it. Yeah, dude. I can't.
I was singing that in the break. But no, that was probably my all-time favorite Disney movie.
Really? So interesting thing for me, I never saw that movie. Okay. I had no cable growing up. That's the whole thing, right? Yeah. So
that was embarrassing.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna edit that out.
So I never heard that movie, like never heard that soundtrack, obviously. Why would I? And I'm randomly like going down a 90s rabbit hole one time, and that comes on. I'm like, Tevin Campbell. And I knew a couple songs. I was like, this is a great song. And then I go and I watch the movie. I'm like, man. And then I watch it with my daughter, and it was just weird. That is a gem of a movie.
Oh man.
I'm just surprised that I don't hear about it more often, but every now and then I'll see it on TikTok.
Well, another thing that was super fun about Goofy, last time I went to Disney, one time I've ever been as an adult, really. I'm not into those kind of things. The first roller coaster I rode, I guess by myself, really, was at Goofy. It was the Goofy one, I think, at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
It was late at night. I rode it like 3 times in a row. And I don't even like roller coasters, but I was just, in that Disney spirit.
Yeah, man. It's and Brink, you're one of the few people that really like. A lot of people don't know that movie. At least, definitely not my age.
All right, I gotta make sure I write this down. Make sure we ask her if she knows about the movie Brink, and if she doesn't, we'll just cancel. All right, Brink.
That should be our measuring stick for all guests. Hey,
we ask this to every guest.
Just a random Brink. What was that actor's name? It's like in some random movies that you never see him again.
Yeah,
like
Vanderpump.
It's not you're on Vandersloot.
But no, he has one of those like Norwegian names. I feel like Eric Van Detten.
Yeah, I was on the same.
But we cannot
3 people names back in the 90s, if you remember.
But you can't forget Val.
Oh, the dude that like he had the yellow and black outfit.
This is his IMDb photo now.
Yeah, that dude's got some fierce blue steel on his face. Yes. You know what I'm talking about? He's got that like look at my jawline.
Yeah, sorry, my food's on
It's all good. I didn't as soon as you said his name, I'm like, that was a good villain, by the way, for that movie.
Val?
Yeah,
hell yeah. Yeah.
It's a good villain name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Val Kilmer as the bad guy in MacGruber.
Yes.
Von Kunt. Victor Von Kunt. It's time to pound some cunt. Emphasize
that would be a good, and not that it's a hobby, but there's a couple 80s villains that all they did were they were 80s villains. Yeah. It's a dream guess, So
Gary Busey, was he an 80s villain?
No, he was. I think he was like voted one of the sexiest men back in the day. Honestly, he was also in one of my favorite movies.
Has he always had that horse face?
He was in what movie was that? Buddy Holly movie. He did the Buddy Holly movie. I guess he did pretty well with that. But I'm thinking the one with Keanu Reeves. It's the surfing one. I can't. Point Break.
That's it.
He was the cop. He was like the cop opposite. He was the older cop opposite Keanu Reeves. Pretty good in it. But nowadays,
I just know him as Black Sheep.
I just know him that I used him as a meme that was AI generated about it was buttered sausage. So if anybody's check that out. Yeah.
Buttered sausage.
Yeah, that's where it came from. Turns out it was not even him. Somebody AI generated it. It was so good.
God, that is so scary, dude.
Yeah, but talk about crazy things. Because of that, he's now the real Gary Busey gone on TikTok and is trending as like Uncle Gary now.
Nice.
So it worked out for everyone. Yeah.
Back on Disney movies, I mentioned Luck of the Irish, and you didn't even mention it. You didn't scoff at it.
So I know I could see the kid in the movie. I never saw it. I remember that movie on Disney. It was like when Disney would have like free stuff, and It was like a 13th year movie. It was around that time, I believe. But I remember seeing it. I remember kind of being taken aback by how bad it looked, to be honest with you.
Now, yeah, when I was in like elementary or middle school, whenever that movie came out, it was awesome because I played basketball, so maybe that's why. And
oh, so he was like on the basketball team, and I'm sure he was okay.
And his family had I look from Ireland. And
listen, you don't have to. You don't have, it's the same thing about the 13th year. It's about a kid who becomes a mermaid and he's a swimmer. I guess he becomes really good at swimming, you know?
What is that? An old coworker of mine, when she got really pissed off, she was like, this is going to be my 13th year. I didn't understand what that meant.
It's probably the same thing as you. It's when he turned 13.
No, it was 13 Reasons Why. What is that?
That's a Netflix show about, I watched it for a minute. It's super, to me, kind of dark. It's about, I think from what I remember, the gist of it is about a girl that was murdered or missing, and then the other high school students are trying to figure it out. And there's like evidence through tapes, and then she left reasons why. And again, that's me completely butchering it.
Well, I was internally laughing, not at what you were saying, but I have a content idea.
Okay.
Just us reviewing shows or movies without even watching them. We watch the trailer. And
or how about like what we think the plot would? Yeah, no, we're good. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, so you want to
something. Let's just like blindly review stuff. Take it seriously
based on the trailer. What are we going on? That's actually pretty good.
Let's do the trailer, and with that, we do the first 5 minutes, the 69th to 79th minute, because those are multiples, and then like the last 5 minutes. Cool. And then we try to piece together what happened and to who. And
I'm down with that.
All right, cool.
I love that kind of stuff. And I think your idea about for those, I'm not sure if you're recording, but if you are, for those of you who are not sure, one of my other many hobbies is improv, which I went and did and participated in it. I highly recommend for anybody being completely serious. It makes you, if you can get in a group of people that you don't know in a circle and start doing an exercise called yes and, you can kind of do anything, truth be told, right?
Yeah, how does a yes and work? So I would say I went to the mall today. No.
So basically the yes and principle is more of like you can't say no. And so I'll give you an example. So if you're in a circle, what we would do is there's 10 of us. We would start off with a theme. Like I would say something like, I'm in a grocery store and I'm super hungry, but I have yoga practice or I have yoga class after this, right? The next person has to say, yes. And I would love to know what kind of yoga pants you're going to wear, because I'm wearing some pink flamingo yoga pants that I'm really excited to wear to my cowboy karaoke night at the Steel City bar down the road. The next person goes, yes, I know that bar. And I would love, do you see how, and when you do that, it creates this like really cool kind of thing going.
Ready, folks? We're about to dive into an extraordinary conversation with the incredible Cherokee Sampson. She's not just a phenomenal singer and baker, but also a proud mom, active community member, and the brilliant mind who clinched the 3rd spot in the Greatest Baker competition in 2023. We'll delve into that and more as Cherokee brings a unique blend of talents to the table, and we cannot wait to uncover the stories behind her remarkable journey. See you then. I almost hit end recording, and that would have been hilarious.
Shortest episode ever.
Welcome. All right, goodbye.
Hi.
How are you? It's been forever.
It has been. It's been years.
Quite literally. So, Cherokee, this is my co-host.
Hey, Cherokee. Cody, nice to meet you.
That's Cody.
Nice to meet you, Cody.
So
I've watched all of your all's little episodes on YouTube.
Have you?
Pretty
Thank
awesome
you.
what you're doing.
There's the tens of listeners.
Well, we got to start somewhere, right? I think we're on this. You know what? I know we're on to something. People seem to be interested. So
it's fun. So we kind of went a different route with this episode because a lot of our previous folks have a certain hobby, one specific thing that they're passionate about. Roller coasters, a lost tape, some music, some death metal. Pokemon, Dungeons and Dragons, sports cards. You're kind of all over the place.
I am.
So,
so what
I'm a fan, Cherokee, by the way, because as I explained in our little precursor before you got on that I'm a type of person that has like 16 different plates, a bunch of different hobbies, ordained minister, nutrition coach. I like to keep busy, and I'm interested because you throw talent into that. A lot of the stuff I do, I make myself good at. It doesn't really involve talent. So I'm really psyched to see.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Does that make sense? It's just, I'm all about habit and discipline. And I have talent in certain areas, but not on the art side. So super excited to see what you have to say.
So
I got a new puppy, and he's eating my cord. So 2 seconds.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wait, no, we need this dog on the screen.
Yeah, you can't. I was going to say, you can't. We're dog lovers. So you can't not show him at some point.
Oh, yeah. I'll pick him up
So you
later.
have a puppy?
What's the
Okay.
name?
His name's Batman.
Yes. We're going to be doing
This is going to be
comic books right here.
Just
and
Batman.
my other dog's name is Batman. That's it.
Perfect.
So it's really cool because I have a almost 2-year-old daughter, and she goes outside and she's like, Batman. And I was like, this is what I needed. Yeah.
Oh my God. Imagine if your dog gets out and it's like 11 o'clock midnight and you're running down Main Street. Batman!
Mm-hmm. Do you have a cat named Robin? I'm hoping.
No, I have a cat named Fires. No, our cat's name is Firestar. She's the queen of the Autobots.
Ah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, I miss those movies back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the only movies I've ever been to a midnight premiere.
I've never been
Cherokee,
to a midnight premiere.
I know, Zach, we gave you a little bit of an intro, but can you start off maybe just telling us a little bit about yourself and just start there?
Yeah. So I grew up you can hear from my accent all Southern and stuff. I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains up in Galax, Virginia. Went to school up there as well. When I was 18, I actually moved over to Germany, and I lived there for 8 years. One of my first hobbies was baking. I started baking around 12 or 13. And when I went overseas, I started working in these bakeries and learned a lot more. So I was able to really capitalize, if you will, on that experience quite literally over here.
Yes.
Then, I lived over there for 8 years, did all kinds of different things. I'm one of those people, I take the bull by the horns kind of situation. I absolutely, anything that falls in my lap, I'm like, let's go. We can do this. I got this. Even if I have 6,000 other things that I'm doing.
I feel that. I understand.
I know that.
Yeah. So while I was over there, I learned a lot of different things. I worked in gastronomy, so different hotels and picked up all these different nuances and all these different, skills and et cetera, that led me back to the States, opening up my own business down here in Florida, in Tampa originally, Mountain Wisdom Bakery, which is homage, to the mountains up home. And then also I lived in the mountains in Germany. And yeah, I mean, I'm a singer as well. I started singing overseas. The very first time I did, I was absolutely terrified. I was shaking, and it was in front of thousands of people. But so that hobby turned into a skill that I've used and also capitalized on.
You should, yeah. I think it was the Joker, not to cut you off real quick, but the Joker did say, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah, true.
So keep going. Apologize.
No, throw them in there. And so besides those two hobbies that became skills that I used, to open up businesses and do, make money with, I also I learned calligraphy just because I speak multiple languages just because I download apps and
do you enjoy learning? It seems like you're just constantly trying to make yourself better. I understand that because again, you both are younger than me. But as the older I get, the more I have a thirst to learn more. Has that happened to you as well, to learn more things, to get more skills? Or?
Well, I grew up with an incredibly brilliant mother who homeschooled me after I was 13. So Zach and we actually only went to school together till I was 13. And
that's right.
And she encouraged me to question everything, everything and to look up everything. She made us, we had to do a report where we compared encyclopedias from the 1970s with encyclopedias from the 2000s to spot the differences.
That's
So
cool.
like that's the kind of, and that for most kids might be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? But I, of course, was like, yes, let's do this. This is amazing. I need to learn it all. So I have a lot of useless facts from all of the learning I've done.
So, I mean,
I like useless facts.
Yeah, I used to go to uselessjunk.com in college. I remember one of the facts was, what is the edge of a shoelace called? It's called an aglet. The little plastic part, if you're wondering. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
But Cherokee, have you ever, I honestly, when Zach was telling me about his, he gives me a lineup of the guests where I try to participate a little bit more than he's been doing recently, but I first thought you were singing Baker. No joke. I was like, so
that's cool.
So like, have you,
I'm going to copyright that idea. Cause
I'm sitting there thinking about that. All kidding aside, do you incorporate any, like, is there a karaoke night day at your bakery? Is there anything that you could?
Not yet.
Do you sing while you bake in the back?
So
Obviously.
I don't have an actual like storefront bakery, mortar and pestle kind of situation. It's all online and people come and pick up from and I go to markets and stuff. I have not done that yet, although that's a great idea and you better write that down because I might just copyright it. I
picture you at a market singing while you have these delicious pastries and then people are throwing dollars into like a guitar. A case
into a tip jar. I sing while I bake. I sing while I shower. I sing all day long. It's just a part of, I don't know, it's just something I do. I don't know. It's just been growing up where we grew up, Zach, you know, Galax is synonymous with music and all of the people in that area, they all are a part of the music industry, if you will. Yeah. It's, you know, with the, what is it called? Oh, that big festival.
Fiddler's Convention. Yeah, it's very big. Where we're from is very big into bluegrass.
My mom was in a rock band, a metal band, and
my stepdad was too.
Yeah, so exactly, and they played together.
Scott?
So her and Scott played together. Mm-hmm. They played together in the basement. Yeah, when I was a baby. They would play their rock music, and that was the only way I would get to sleep is when they were practicing in the basement. I'm serious.
They just built out the basement, my mom and his new house for that. And Mom will send me snaps like once a night, and they're all playing music. My little brother's now playing the drums. We're gonna have him. Cool. We're gonna have him on in a future episode to talk about his music, and now he's dabbling in toy selling, and he's making it killing. But keep going. I apologize.
Cool. So I was not just exposed to the bluegrass. I was exposed to metal and just my dad loves country and pop. And so I had the Britney Spears on one side and Seether and Korn on the other, you know, so.
So your music skill, your music.
Eclectic.
It kind of mirrors your hobbies and your interests, right? I understand. Yeah. So when you have the calligraphy, you learned some languages, you've baked, you know how to bake, you could sing. Do they have a connection? Do you find times that, like, maybe does the language help out? Does it carry over into any of the other things that you do, or vice versa?
For sure, especially overseas. You know, learning German in the bakery because I didn't speak fluent German when I went over there, and so I learned a lot of German in the bakery. There's a lot of faux pas and stuff, and me saying things that just weren't right, or misunderstanding things. But it's important because, you know, that kind of shaped my viewpoint even, you know, and having those experiences in the bakery, I mean, it was great. And learning the languages that I did over there while I was baking and learning all of these things, I mean, they kind of like coincided, like multiple brain pathways were built all at the same time, you know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
for sure.
Now, before you came on, and we'll get back to the hobbies, I have a very important question. We ask this to every guest. Have you ever watched the movie Brink?
No.
All right. So first off, did you not watch Disney? What about
Wait. When were you? What years were you in Germany? Let's start there.
From 2010 until 2017. So I was out of
high school by then.
Yeah, so there's no
yeah.
excuse there. It's like a B-rated Disney movie that most people do not know.
C-rated.
C-rated, yeah.
All right, you can make up for that. What about the Goofy movie? Please tell me you've seen the Goofy movie.
I have. I loved the Goofy movie. My best friend.
A Powerline Funko.
Look at him. That is so cool.
Yeah, I have a dude.
That is awesome.
Sorry, keep going.
I was in love with Max as a kid. I swear, I was like, "This is my boyfriend." You know.
We were talking about that song. Zach pulled it up because I've never seen that movie, but I came across that song randomly, Eye to Eye by Tevin Campbell, and I was like, man, that's not a good song.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question as a father and somebody. I feel like I have so many different things going on all the time, and I feel like I'm overwhelmed with the hobbies and interests, even though I keep doing it. How do you manage all of these things? Is there like any tips or tricks that you do for yourself to not seem overwhelmed, or do you just not feel overwhelmed?
Oh, I get overwhelmed, you know. But I have OCD, and that contributes a lot to like I absolutely love schedules, and I'm
Same.
a very like and it's like
yeah.
I got to do these things in this order, and so that is the way that I try to manage the time, and all of the different things I've got going on, and it's working out. Doesn't mean I don't get overwhelmed, but it's really great because singing I can do with my daughter. She loves to go outside and sing with me on the microphone. Baking I can do with her. She absolutely loves making pretzels, and we got her a Play-Doh set. And she's doing that. She's like baking with her Play-Doh. It's really cute.
Nice.
So I try to incorporate them into all of this to try to,
awesome.
Equalize it, if you will.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's that was something that I was hoping to have some advice. Thank you. But no, I'm kidding. I always feel like I can't say no, but it's kind of, to me, it comes along the same lines as you. Like, I don't want to say no sometimes because I feel like for FOMO, whatever it is, I want to try things. I want to do things. And then if you've ever missed out on something, you're like, man, all I had to do was try it. Yeah. Right. So that was why I asked that question. And Zach mentioned something about the greatest baker competition. I literally just found that out. That's completely news to me right now. Can you touch down on that a little bit?
Yeah, I've been a part of the greatest baker competition for the last 3 years. The first 2 I applied for. Last year I was invited back. That was cool.
Nice.
And what it is it's a competition for bakers all over the country. This year they have the host from Food Networks. He's the Cake King, Buddy Valastro. They have, they have, you can get like an article in the Bake magazine, I believe it's called. But most important for me is that they raise money, for different organizations while they do this. 2 years, for 1 year, it was No Kid Hungry, which I love that organization. Yeah. And then the last 2 years was the Andrew Donau B+ Foundation, which helps kids with cancer all over our country with financial, emotional help, and just so many more things that they do. But for me, that was so important, and it's cool. I made it to 3rd place in my group this time, so I love.
So are you going to keep doing it? It sounds like you're going to continue to keep trying to get in there and get. Not that 3rd place is bad. Are you going to? So the goal is to get out of the region for you.
So the goal is. So eventually I want to open up a brick and mortar business, and like everyone else right now, we don't. The funds sometimes are hard, and one of the things about that competition is that there's a $10,000 reward. And so if I did win that, I would use it to open up a brick and mortar building so that I could, get my baked goods out there to a lot of different people and ship all over the nation. It's one of my dreams, is to ship.
Well, I should have asked this earlier. If you were going to talk to our listeners about a niche that you have for your bakery, or what style bakery, or what separates you from, some of these other bakeries?
It's so European American. It's a big mix. I mean, I make Bavarian pretzels in the traditional Bavarian style. I make cinnamon rolls, but with they're called spicy Appalachian cinnamon rolls. It's the new kind of cinnamon roll.
So
They're a little
German
spicy.
with a twist, like a
Yes.
German with an apple. That's awesome.
What makes it spicy?
Yeah.
Is it like moonshine jelly?
Nah, that'd be cool too. Hey, give me
I have some in my
Another
fridge.
idea.
I have some in my fridge.
Yeah.
I brought it up last time.
Nice. I haven't had moonshine in so long. So no, my uncle made a brand new pepper in his garden. They cross-pollinated a bunch of different peppers, and they call them Tennessee tearjerkers. And they send me the spice.
I might need to talk with them because I'm growing peppers this year again.
Mm-hmm.
That's
okay.
awesome.
I'll put you in contact. No, I've got giant jars of it, so I'm good for a while. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the difference between a normal bakery, and I'm completely organic and all natural, so non-GMO and etc. Yeah.
I'm a clean eater. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that you don't see really in a lot of bakeries is they use all of the same products and bad products and rancid vegetable oils and all these things. And I just can't, there's a book that I read. It's, I don't know where it is. Nourishing Traditions. That is the name of it. You all should look it up. It'll blow your mind. It'll also make you not want to eat a lot of things.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, I understand that. I'm not surprised by that at all. Just based on the stuff that I did with the nutrition certification, but a lot of stuff that we eat here in the States is made completely different overseas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's the
illegal.
Same food. Yeah, and it's just there's stuff you can't even have out of this country. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist.
No, there are folks here in the States who have been diagnosed as lactose intolerant, and they can go to Germany, UK,
because they cook
in
it the right way.
Slovakia and was able to drink milk with their coffee, and she can't do that here. And I'm starting not to be able to, and it's just because there's so much additives. It's gross.
There really is.
That's exactly what it is. Over there, you can actually buy raw milk in the stores. I did it, and there's like farms everywhere, So there's this farm next door, and I would walk over and pay 70 cents for a liter of organic milk that hadn't been touched with the cream on top, Mm-hmm. So it is completely different. I'll tell you, Coca-Cola tastes different over there. McDonald's tastes different over there. I mean, it all does. Like, there's so many things over there that's illegal that you can't use here. Yeah. So,
Now, so you're obviously baking in Florida. Someone who used to have a roommate that was from New York that loved bagels. So when I lived in Myrtle Beach, she complained a lot about the water and how it's always better in New York, like her rolls or bagels or what have you. So have you had folks down there like maybe saying that the water in Florida doesn't make bagels as well as, potentially back up north?
No.
Mm-mm. Really? It's fascinating. No. I thought maybe she was onto something.
I don't know. I would have to do an inquiry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can make sense. I mean, she always said that New York water made better bagels than elsewhere.
I don't know how. It's so chlorinated.
It's all the extra flavor from the big river there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you sorry, God, I interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
So do you take is it Bavarian pretzels? You said some of your specialties. Do you do like custom things too, like upon request, or is it okay? What is, if you don't mind me asking, have you gotten any strange requests for custom stuff, or has that not happened yet? Like strange, like out of the box type of pastry, writing, anything like that?
I have one that my sister has, but
okay. Yeah, well, if you ever do, please let us know.
Yes, I would love to have one. I'm scared, but then you don't want to out folks. My sister, she went to Johnson & Wales for pastry design, something like that. So do you have like professional schooling, or is yours more, you learned from others, so like that sort of thing?
No, I did what would be considered a practical apprenticeship as a baker and a pastry chef over there.
So you don't have student loans?
No. But I didn't go to school. That is typically a part of the apprenticeship program, but I felt over there I was too old to go to school because a lot of the people start their apprenticeships at like 14 there, and I just felt really strange. So Yeah, I do. It's just practical, hands-on, but I was taught
Nice.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, just not $60,000 a year worth.
No.
So I like
Yeah.
it. Cool.
Mm-mm.
I think Cody had a question too.
Yeah, how do you stay inspired? Do you use social media, kind of keep yourself, not that it's inspiring, but I've noticed a lot of people with baking or cooking use that kind of as a catalyst, or maybe they're looking on there for inspiration for ideas. Do you how do you stay inspired, whether it's the singing or the baking, with your hobbies?
I listen to a lot of so as far as the music goes, I
Okay.
listen to a lot of new music all the time and from all over the world, because I want to make sure that I always say, like, I don't want to miss something. I don't want to miss that one song that I think would do amazing, like I'd be great at covering, or etc. And I am a fan of Pinterest. I mean, my Pinterest boards are
Yeah,
crazy.
my girlfriend.
I'm ashamed. And so I have like European American Pinterest board for bakery. Like I pin all kinds of stuff. I look up all kinds of new things that are on the market over there, even here, look up all the different bakeries, just trying to keep myself informed. That way I never get stale, as it were. It's
That's
important,
cool.
in my opinion.
And do you do the
Yeah.
same thing with like you mentioned the music? What about the baking? Do you stay on top of trends and
Yeah.
and things like that? Because it sounds like obviously you're paying attention to what you're putting into the stuff that you're
Yes.
making and stuff. So.
And I do. And right now I don't, for instance, have vegan options. But when I have a brick and mortar, I'll have like vegan options and gluten-free options and different things. One thing that's unique about my bakery is that I'm allergic to nuts. So it's nut-free bakery. And I've actually had so many people, write me and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can order from you. I can't order from anywhere else because they
Sounds
use
like
nuts."
a niche to me. Yeah, absolutely. Because if
And
you
soy-free.
yeah, we have
I got to take my business elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's a fear of mine because I have a daughter that dances. I mean, you have to bring food to a studio of 100 dancers. You have to worry about nut allergies, any sort of allergies. And there's a lot more kids that have allergies than I had realized. So
Yes.
there's definitely sounds like there's an issue. That's super interesting for sure.
Well, just take pistachios, I'm very allergic to pistachios, and my cat's right there, like, wait,
I've been watching.
Right there.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I love it.
Perfect. Exactly. This is awesome. So I'm very allergic to pistachios, and I was working at this chiropractor's office up in Minnesota. And my coworker, unbeknownst to me, I was in the front. He opened up a package of pistachios, and the dust obviously goes everywhere. And I walked into the back and started to go into anaphylactic shock.
Oh no!
That's how easy those things could happen. So it's so important to be vigilant.
That's great. Yeah.
Optimus. So I have a quick question. So this is actually one that I kind of do try to ask most episodes. When you think about baking, it really kind of is your driving force to continue on, if that makes sense.
So some of my first memories are of my mom, my grandma, my great-grandma, my great aunt. I mean, all of these people baking and things like apple cake. My great grandma made the best apple cake, and I still can't really recreate it because I haven't found the recipe. And my mom, she was just like a whiz. She could pretty much bake anything, and she was very good at cake decorating. So I already learned all of that at a young age. One specific, I knew I was interested in cake decorating. I was 7 years old. I had a birthday party, and my mom made a Minnie Mouse cake. And it was amazing. And I still have the photos of it today. And I still look back on it and be like, this for me, I think was like one of the drives. They were so big about baking themselves. And so it's kind of in my blood, you know?
That's
well, would you care to share some of those? We could add those into the video and we should put it on. I mean, it's okay. Like the pictures of the.
Yeah, you don't have to do it right now. Like if you pass that along.
Yeah.
Because that would be great to see, because that's a great, typically when we ask that question, there's not as specific of an answer as that. And if you have any sort of, that's great. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, because
I get it.
I've been thinking a lot, like, stuff that I do, obviously sports memorabilia, teams that I like. I mean, these are my favorite players from the 90s, my childhood. The only reason I have these Pokemon cards here is because I couldn't have them as a kid. And, I think there's a Greg Maddox auto up here. My grandma had it when I was a kid. So a lot of my hobbies, I think, are nostalgia based. I don't know if that's just something that as I'm getting plunged into adulthood and, more responsibilities, you kind of yearn for, when life was simpler. I'm thinking maybe there's something to that.
There is.
I think so too. I think that as we grow, we kind of do go back to our childhood and pull inspiration from it. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I know I do. Even just songs sometimes, like I'll remember a song that my mom sang and played on the guitar, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I think I could do that. And it will just come out of the blue somewhere or sometime, but I definitely agree with that. And I think that's very true.
I think we have glimpses when we're children of what we want to do, not just as our careers. I remember more about my hobbies. We joke about not a hobby, but I'm into fitness and lifting, right? I was obsessed with Rocky IV and workout routines and workout training montages, right? And then as we're thinking about this, I'm like, man, I'm obsessed with that. And then you eventually manifest it and you do it. You're baking. Zach's collecting all these different things, and it's just
it never stops.
Yeah, but it's just like, if you really think back, that's kind of what we're doing here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I used to write down recipes religiously. I would copy them out of like Woman's Day and Better Housekeeping, I think it's called, and all of my mom's cookbooks and stuff. And I still have some of them, that I put onto paper, and actually have little folders from my childhood of recipes that I can do in my sleep now, But I agree with that too. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Do you have any moments, whether it's with the baking or singing or anything, or the traveling to Germany, anything that you've done that you're like, wow, this is an awesome moment that you could think of, like looking back, like your life's flashing before your eyes, you're going to be like, oh man, that was a cool moment. Are you able to share like one of those with us?
Getting on the airplane, for sure. That was I think, especially coming from where we're from, to get on an airplane and move to Germany at 18, that's not a typical thing that a lot of people do from our area. And so
was that your first flight? Probably from DC
ever.
Really?
Yeah, from Charlotte to New York to Germany to Munich, and I didn't speak any German, and it was life-changing. Like it really was. And I think that's.
So you went from never flying to your first flight's end destination to being overseas.
Yes, it was terrifying.
That is impressive, and I'm sure it was. Wow.
That's probably why you're so successful now, is that you literally put yourself into a new culture.
Yeah.
So we grow most when we're uncomfortable.
Exactly. And I like to say that contrast, I don't always like to go into that positive, negative stuff. I prefer to look at everything as contrast. And that moment specifically, I think that was one of the biggest life-changing moments that really set me on a trajectory of where I am today. And I can see all of these different things looking back. I'm so old. Looking back, with my 32 years, I can see different things. Like I joined the United States Air Force, and I was actually discharged a day before basic for being 2 pounds over the weight limit. And I found out a couple days later that I have a thyroid disease. And so I wasn't able to go into the Air Force. That was a big moment, though, because that put me back to the United States. Came back to the United States, moved to Tennessee, moved to Minnesota, met my husband, now have 3 kids.
That's
so
that's whenever we kind of retouched.
Yeah. Yeah, when
crazy
I moved
how
back
that
to
works,
the States.
right? There's parts that the paths that change, and the way we talk about that all the time, about, like, I think for you, putting yourself, I think Zach sometimes makes fun of me, or other people do, I try to motivate and say, like, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. That's what makes, maybe it wasn't you, it was everybody else. No, but in all seriousness, I don't want to sound like a TED talk, but that's really what life is all about. And you've done that a lot, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, doing things that most people won't do or are not willing to do. And that's just cool to see. And as far as like for anybody, because I don't know if a lot of people know about these baking competitions. If you were going to give somebody that was looking to do that, like how did you find out about that? How did you get involved in that competition, that baking?
I saw an ad on Facebook 3 years ago. I had
Okay.
just, of course, it was a targeted ad. I had just opened up my bakery down in Tampa, and so I was talking a lot about bakeries and like Googling bakery stuff, and it came up in an ad on Facebook, and I clicked on it, and kind of the rest is history. I was like, well, this is cool. You can enter for free. People can vote for you daily. They can contribute donations to those foundations or not. So there's no kind of expectation set. It isn't one of those things where it's like, you got to vote for me. It's like, hey, you can go and do this, and you can donate if you want to. This
Sure.
is the amazing foundation you'd be supporting. So I would just say, Google it. Seriously, if you are interested in competitions like that, where you can win that kind of exposure, first of
Yeah.
all, is really impressive, especially Buddy Velastro being a part of it from Food Network. I mean, that's pretty cool. And helping the foundations too, like I would always tag them, and so the foundations would be like liking it, and it's like a community effort, but over social media.
Mm-hmm.
So Google it for sure. Hmm.
For being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I assume, but I need to ask: are you on that? Do you have Netflix?
Yes.
Have you seen Nailed It?
It's great.
Wait, I think I have. Hold on. Let me just check to make sure.
Nailed It.
Great show, Zach. I did not know you watched that.
I love Nailed It.
Yes.
Along with Is It Cake?
Oh, it's a good one.
Yes. So, yeah, I've seen a couple episodes of that. I just wanted to make sure it was I keep dropping my cord.
Of the what was the one you said, Zach? Because I
Nailed It.
Nailed It. Yeah.
Nailed It.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the one in Britain, the cake bake off in Britain. I love it.
Is that the dude with
Great
the
British Cook Off?
Is that the
Yes.
guy with the silver, like the steel blue eyes with the gray hair? There's this dude.
That's me.
No, man, I'm gonna drop him in here. You guys will know I'm talking. My wife watches it, and I'm like super intimidated by this guy. I'll share him at some point. But anyways, it's all those baking shows. Like you can't help. It's an interesting hobby to say the least, and honestly, it's something that I can't bake it. My daughter and I tried to make these pre-made Elsa cookies, and I somehow messed those up. So to see somebody like you, or anybody that can do that, is super inspiring for sure.
Well, I think, baking is a trade. It's a trade. Like overseas, it's viewed as a trade. I mean, you do apprenticeships for it, and I think it's one that needs to be reignited, even because we have so many.
So you don't
bakeries.
say that doesn't really happen here, though. You made it seem like it's a trade there, but not so much here. In terms of
I don't think it is. I think it's become more commercialized here. Having an individual standalone bakery. There are some. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but
bakeries seem like they're like a staple in European communities.
Yes, and everywhere. They're everywhere.
Right.
And it's like you can go to a different bakery or cafe every single day, in the area that you live in. And that just doesn't happen here. There are places over there where people, they come together and they eat their pretzel or they eat their cake and they have a coffee, an espresso, a cappuccino, and over here, a lot of times when you go to a bakery, they only have sweet stuff. They don't really have a lot of the savory stuff like breads and rolls and muffins and, all the things that I make. And if they do, the products that they use are more commercialized. And I just think that I would love eventually to start like workshops to help teach people how to bake. I actually got approached on Facebook by a mom. I'm working with her to do a workshop here in the area for kids, for teenagers and stuff, because she's homeschooling. And so I think that's so important, because if you know how to make your own bread, think about that for a second. If you know how to make your own pretzels, I mean,
my grandma
that could be.
back home, she makes the best bread. I don't know how she does it, and I don't have the recipe, but I also just don't have the patience to do that kind of thing. But it's something I wanted to take up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Zach had a great question, and you kind of touched down on it a little bit. And it's like a dream project or something like that. You had you're talking about have like a workshop thing. That sounds pretty interesting.
I think that would be a cool kind of side YouTube project that we could have, where you could do online baking classes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, trying to expand,
That would be cool.
upon what we do here. I think that would be a way to showcase.
I do
hobbies.
think we need to eventually, after each episode, try each one of these.
I was going to say, I think
baking is going to be brutal, man. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, we'll do a workshop. I'll teach you all and the viewers how to bake, and you all can eat what you make, and hopefully it's as good as mine.
Maybe Emily and I have done this thing. We made it was one of those date book things where you scratch off, and we had to bake something,
right.
But I was her arms behind her or something like that. And I think that would be very cool, where like Emily and I do that, and you lead us, and then Cody and your wife, you guys are in on it as well, and you're trying to show us. I think that would be very fun.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
A lot to coordinate, but I think it would be neat. You got to run it by her, obviously. But this would be cool.
Zach, I'm cutting it close here. Just
yeah.
I always, as you said, balancing things. Every time we record, we're gonna have to change the schedule up. I have to go pick up my daughter from dance, like literally right after this.
I didn't even realize it was what time it was. So
yeah, well, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah. So it's been awesome. Let me see here if I have any other questions.
I tried to touch down as many as I could, but we were having such a good. I think it was flown pretty good that I had to just jump around. So I think it went pretty good.
Yeah. So so now that you've come on, you're a recurring guest. So anytime that we ask you to come on, you have to. And and so I almost asked, do you have any questions for us? I've been on the phone way too much today at work. So well, so before we get off here though, is there anything that you would like to plug? I know you sent me some stuff. I will be adding that to the episode as we go through production at the end. But tell the folks that do listen, because there are more folks that have been putting eyes, where they can find you and your company's website.
Yeah, so you can go on to http with the little funky sign, mountainwisdom.square.site, and you can just look at the things I got. I obviously am not, shipping out yet to the rest of the country or anything. So if you live in the Port Richey, Tampa area, you can definitely come pick some up.
Everybody in St. Petersburg. That's
there you go. Yeah, for sure. I've had people from Dunedin, which is down there near Clearwater, come and pick up from me. So, and I'm on Facebook, Mountain Wisdom Online Bakery, Instagram. Just go look me up. You can just Google me, Mountain Wisdom Bakery. It comes right up. I'm good at SEO.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something I'm trying to get better at every day. Every video, I find something else I've missed, and it's just tiny improvements every day. So
it's a learning process.
Awesome. Well, Cody, do you have any last minute questions for her then?
I don't. This has been awesome. So I'm super glad you were able to come on here with us. And as Zach said, you're welcome back anytime, because I mean, I could talk with you both for the next couple hours.
Cool.
I want to go off on the baker tangent about the trade. I'm excited.
I would like to, maybe at some point tomorrow, I'll try to reconvene with all three of us in a group chat or something, maybe on Facebook, and maybe we can try to set up something for video there.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you all for having me. I love this conversation.
It's been awesome. So we'll have you back again.
Sounds great.
All right. See you later.
Cherokee. Have a great night.
Bye. You too.
Bye. So as we wrap up this fantastic episode with Cherokee, we want to express our gratitude to her for sharing, her incredible journey with us. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please don't forget to hit subscribe, like, leave a review. You can even compliment me on my sunglasses. So stay tuned for more inspiring stories. Like I said earlier, we're going to try to have some toy collectors on. We have some axe throwers we're going to be having coming on, and we have some more tabletop games we're going to be learning about soon. So until next time, have a great night.